Yesterday, I did a video in which I shared with you another video that I found with Frank Slotman, the CEO of Snowflake, and Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA. And when I got done with that, I said, I got to own both of these stocks because these people explained to me better than anyone else has ever of how artificial intelligence is going to affect my life and, as far as that goes, my business, because I will incorporate it into my website. And I thought, my God, I got to own these two stocks. And I thought, have I ever felt that way before? And so I went back into my archives of videos, and I found that on January the 27th of 2021, I did a video that was titled, "If I Could Only Own 3 Stocks for the Next 3 Years." You'll notice that's the same title as on the thumbnail of this video. And so I thought, my God, how things have changed in the past 3 years. What had happened is I had just finished reading Walter Isaacson's book, The Code Breaker, same guy who just finished or published the book on Elon Musk. And I was convinced that Jennifer Doudna and Emmanuel de Carpentier, who won the Pulitzer Prize for their work in genome sequencing and genome editing, that this was going to change the world, and certainly it would happen within the next 3 years. Well, it hasn't. It hasn't happened, and as a result, the 3 stocks that I chose, CRISPR, Editas, and Nutella, have not turned out to be the 3 stocks that were going to make me $1 million over the next 3 years. In fact, CRISPR at that time in January 27th, 2021 was at $207 a share. It's currently at $50. Editas was at $67. It's currently at $7.50. And Nutella was at $70, and it's currently at $24. And each of them are up from their lows as a result of some work that CRISPR has announced with sickle cell anemia in the last 30 days. So what I realized is things don't happen quite often as fast as you think they're going to happen and change the world, because I do believe that genome sequence and genome editing will eventually change the world, and these stocks will be at the center of it, but I don't know where it's going to happen or when it's going to happen. And I think the issue in the way was the Food and Drug Administration. You can have the drug that's going to save the world and cure cancer, but you got to get the Food and Drug Administration to approve it, and that requires that you do years upon years of testing to show what the unintended consequences are, and then you wait more years and years to see if there are any unexpected consequences. So that was a misjudgment on my part. So now I say the revolution that's going to happen now is artificial intelligence and machine learning. And if you watch the video I did yesterday where Frank Slotman of Snowflake and Jensen Huang explain to you how artificial intelligence is going to make it into my business. I laid awake last night thinking about, my God, I have a tremendous amount of data. I've done some over 2,000 videos, and I've spoken those videos, and that's data. And I've gathered all this research information and put on Google Sheets on thousands of stocks, and that's data. That's data that I extracted from the internet, and then I now have that ownership of it, and I can actually go to Azure's Copilot, that's Microsoft software, and say, okay, or I can go to Snowflake and say, here's my data. You plug me in with NVIDIA, and you help me structure a open language model that I can have people come to my website and say, what do you think of Disney stock? And I can go to my data and I can have a format that says, well, based on their current earnings and their debt ratio and go into detail of what exactly has happened and what I've learned over my 50 years of what probably is going to happen relative to Disney. And then I can access the data that I've gathered from all the emails that I've received from various sites relative to Disney stock and other people's opinions. And then I can gather from other data that I have of what the analysts, the leading analysts on these stocks project as their future price to be. And if I can pull all that data together, and then Jensen can help me with his GPU chips to deliver it in a understandable method, that I can create a website that analyzes every stock and delivers to you exactly what you want to know about that stock from the data that I have collected over the last 3 years and the videos that I have made and the emails that I've received. I can create that, and I can do it in such a way that it'll be expensive, but I can share that expense with you as a monthly subscription to make you a better investor and give you access. And then I can also take the large language platform and answer any question that you have about investing. Like you might say, what is a stop loss order? And I can come back to you and give you an answer. And then I can ask you got any other questions? And you can say, well, it says something about a trailing and it says about a percentage or a dollar amount. What does that mean? And I would come back to you through a ChatGPT type thing and give you the answer. Yeah. You could then ask me, I'm a second marriage, and we each have our own accounts. What should I do about estate planning? How should I structure it? And I could give you the answer. That's what I learned yesterday from watching the video between, what was their names, Frank Slotman and Jensen Huang. I can do that, and I can make it available to you. And again, from my data. All right, so with that in mind, what are the 3 stocks that I must own for the next 3 years? Well, they're not CRISPR, Editas, and Nutella. I honestly believe that isn't going to happen in 3 years. I just think there's too many roadblocks. I know CRISPR is making an announcement near the end of this month relative to their work on sickle cell anemia, but I don't think that's where the world is going because, again, the cost associated with it is going to be. So I'm going to retract my video from January 27th, 2021, and I'm going to say I definitely want to own NVIDIA. What I also know is I saw another interview with Jensen Huang and the CEO of Supermicro Computer, SMCI, and they are the people who are making the stacks. I believe that's what they're referring to, that have the compute, that supply the data centers with the computers that are going to be capable of delivering my data to you in a timely and efficient manner. Again, it's using GPUs rather than CPUs. So I want to own Supermicro computers as well. Then I'm at a quandary as to what that third stock should be. I like a company that is not making money right now because it's building out its capabilities to introduce robotics to every distribution center in the world, and using artificial intelligence and robotics, and that's SYM, Symbotics. So that's playing there, and then I cannot get away from what I learned from Frank Slotman and Snowflake. Now, I know Snowflake is going to have some competition, but damn, I was really impressed with Jensen Huang's commitment to Snowflake. So those are the 4 stocks that I want to own. But I have to also own Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, and Google, because they've got the money, they've got the data, they've got the talent. Now, the problem with them is they aren't going to grow because they've already grown so big. They aren't going to grow as fast as what I think NVIDIA, Supermacro, and Symbiotics and Snowflake are going to grow. So that's why I'm saying I got to own them, because they're going to be players and they're going to make everything possible. And I I did say it, Microsoft, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, and Google. And you'll notice the absence of Apple. I don't think Apple has given me a understanding where they're going to fit into the artificial intelligence and the machine learning world. Until they do, until Tim Cook proves to me that he is another Steve Jobs, I got to push back on that. I'll own some because they are the largest corporation in the world, but they've got some headwinds against them. I mean, with their dependence on China, and that's also with Tesla. The shine has come off of electric vehicles. Again, go to NVIDIA's website and find the press release that they put out and a video that Jensen did just earlier last week on their play into the automotive world. They are going to give you autonomous driving. They are going to create a computer that will analyze what that car sees, and they will make that one computer in the car capable of delivering autonomous driving. And that opens that up. Again, that's not just one company. That opens it up to every automobile manufacturer in the world. That's why I think I got to own NVIDIA, because this computing power, this accelerated computing power, has so many applications that it's going to reach into every element of our life. So yes, it's a high price stock. It's got a high PE ratio, but I think they're just getting started. And unless Advanced Micro Devices comes out in December with a chip to challenge NVIDIA, I don't see anybody holding them back. So that's my... I'm sorry I couldn't come down to 3, but that's my take on the opportunities over the next 3 years. And there's no Food and Drug Administration in our way. Okay, and Congress isn't going to do anything. There's these people that this is a threat to artificial intelligence, is a threat to humanity. Yeah, it is. If it gets in the wrong hands, and if it gets in the hands of bad actors, it could do some crazy things. But the positives are just unimaginable, even for me. I woke up this early, 3 o'clock this morning, and I said, my God, I understand this, and I understand how I can incorporate it into Best of Us Investors and create a business that JP Morgan or Fidelity or somebody is going to come and offer me billions of dollars for. And I can do it myself because the tools are available. And I know who I have to go to access those tools. Okay, that's my take on where I think this world is going. I want to invite you to come along on the ride with me. I have these bus portfolios, bus 12 and bus 13. The bus 12 is dealing with the software. That's where you're going to find Snowflake. And the bus 13 is dealing with the hardware. That's where you're going to find Supermacro and NVIDIA and Symbiotics. But this is an investment opportunity of a lifetime. And for those of you who I led down the path of biotech 2 years, 10 months ago, I'm sorry. But I learned. And if you can learn from your mistakes and make them quickly, you stand a chance. Okay, Kerry Grinkmeyer, retired financial advisor, bestofusinvestors.com. Come find out if we are the place you should land. Talk to you again tomorrow.